Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, how are you? What's happening in your world? I hope you're doing, hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good here. I'm leaving work, heading to physical therapy, and just still working on this right hip area. Like it has been a thing. I injured my leg uh, in January of 2024. And I have been just, doing all the things trying to get it together. Physical therapy seems to be the trick, but it's still, it's taking time, and I have to be as patient as possible, you know, because I didn't start physical therapy until oh my gosh, like the summer of 24. And so, because I just kept, you know how people are, like how I am, I should say, where you just, oh, it'll get better. Here we are. No. So I am now taking the steps to get better. At one point, I thought I was completely, cured. I thought it was all, whatever. And then one wrong move, whatever that was, and now I'm, feeling the pain again. So it's a little frustrating, but in time, it's gonna just allow things to heal the way they're supposed to heal, and when they're supposed to heal. It's not my time. It's when the body is like, girl, we're good. Yo, these potholes, what the heck? Anyway, guys, yeah, today was Wacky Wednesday at my job. I've got a hippie boot on the one side of my left cheek here. I've got a little hippie car, it's about faded because I kept touching my face today. On my right cheek, I got a tie-dye shirt on. And we had a good day. It was really fun. But guys, what is happening? What is happening in your world? I'm just gonna let you know. In my world, things are great. Like, seriously, like, things are great. Would I prefer that my hip be? Of course, But overall, things are going really well. But I am just seriously cracking up to myself right now about this whole thing with Trump and these Tesla cars and him basically begging people to some degree to basically go out and buy a Tesla and, be in support of Elon Musk. And it's just like, what? Like, what are we doing here? Like, are you running the country or are you a car salesman? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? I mean, it just speaks volumes to like what is happening in this country, um, and how much of a joke our government is. And this is not like a Republican Democrat thing. This is across the board. Because how in the hell are people not calling this man out for this nonsense in ways of where there's more muscle behind how they're approaching this? I just don't get it. And maybe that's where my ignorance in government falls, or lies rather, because I just don't understand how this is okay, that he is out here promoting Tesla cars, that, he's basically telling everyone, to be in support of Elon Musk to no end. There could be repercussions, if you're like basically not in favor of Elon Musk. It's like, what? Like, what is going on? So it's just wild to me. It's wild to me that this is where we are in the United States of America. But at the same time, it's not, because this has been a slow burning candle that is now basically at the end, and we're like, oh, yikes! Like, this is who we are. Like the whole thing has been exposed, and it's like, this is what's been happening this whole time. This candle's been burning. Wow, right? And so here we are. Here we are, and it's like, where are we going now, knowing all this information? Who knows? Who freaking knows? But what I do know is this is not sustainable. And I've been saying this for a long time. I don't know when all this is going to implode, but it's going to implode. It has to. Like, it literally has to implode, because it's just so like above and beyond anything that would remotely look like government, or anything, or any type of leadership that would govern a country. It's like two kids that have decided, okay, we weren't cool at one point. Now we're just going to go off and do all these things because we have the money, we have the power, and whatever that thing or things that we want to do, we're just going to do it. Whether you all like it or not, this is how we're going to roll, you know? I mean, that's literally how I feel. I feel like they were in some serious, you know, bad situations as kids, whether it been like bullying at school, bullying at home, abuse at home, whatever. I feel like now they're acting out because they have the money and they have the ability to do these outlandish things that a child wish they could have done that are completely irrational. Like, this is not an adult. These aren't adult decisions, guys. We just have to really fess up to that. These are two children who are in adult bodies who are making some of the most ridiculous decisions by way of claiming they are supporting this country and they're helping the American people by creating, these things like Doge and all this nonsense, and they're looking for all the wasteful spending. But meanwhile, they're just money laundering. I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, the long of the short, or the short of the long, whatever. The point of it is, long story short, there you go. Long story short, neither one of these fools have a secure bag, meaning money, looking forward. And so they're basically taking money from the American people. That's what they're doing. Because the fact that Elon Musk even has a salary, what? Like, he is not elected to anything in this country, which brings me back to the point of how in the hell are Democrats and Republicans allowing this? How is, like, what has to be done? I know there's a whole process, and maybe it's just all these things behind the curtain that obviously I don't know because I'm not in government to that degree. But like, what is going on? Who knows? I mean, somebody knows, but it's like, are we just supposed to just sit back and like, well, I just don't think that that's going to be the thing. And I don't think lashing out and being, violent is the thing either, because obviously where has that gotten us? Violence has literally gotten us nowhere. It's actually, got a few people together. Sometimes you have to whoop a few people's asses and they're like, you know what, maybe I should get my ass somewhere and sit down because that person is not playing with me. Like I thought they were, they whooped my ass and now I know, right? But the overall approach in this country, violence isn't the answer. I don't think so. History has proven that it's not working, right? War after war after war, and we're still in the same position. We're just creating more wars. It's like, well, what the hell is this, right? And it's funny because I saw a meme on one of these, it was probably TikTok, not one of these, let's be serious, it was probably TikTok, where this guy said something, and I thought, wow, this is something to think about. And he basically was saying that the reason why this country is in the shape that it's in right now is because the white supremacists and racists that were around during slavery and that whole time, Jim Crow, but basically during slavery, because they weren't eradicated and shut down in ways that would demote their power. Maybe he even meant to the point of like executing. I hope not, but listen, whatever. He was like, the reason why we're in this situation is because we allow those people to still stick around and basically do what they were doing, but just kind of keeping it under wraps, right? Creating things like Jim Crow, gerrymandering, redlining, like all these things are subsets of the slavery, torture, and horrible things that were happening at that time. And because those things weren't called out in a way of like, okay, we're calling it out, we're done with it, and you all have lost all privileges, you're stripped of this, you're stripped of that. Dare I say, there would be some type of like violent approach to ending their lives or something. I don't want to think that because that's just not how I operate. But all that to say, because those actual powers were not stripped from these people, we are now still in, or we are still in, not now, we are still in this perpetual toxicity that was based, the foundation of that was by way of slavery. And I was like, yeah, I concur. I totally agree with that. Because my thing is, when you allow something to just keep happening over and over again, and you give it a little slap on the wrist and hope someone's going to stop, they'll find ways to still do it and be sneaky about it. And you think, okay, well maybe things are better, but no, they're not better. They're not better. And the thing is, with that as well, and you see it. You see that it's not getting any better. You see that racism is basically rearing its head in ways that are just so ridiculous. And almost in the way, not almost, but in the way of like trying to antagonize Black people, to get out in the streets and protest. And so many people on social media have been saying, all these things, like the whole idea of exonerating Chauvinol, the guy who put the knee to Eric Garner's neck. Not Eric Garner's, I mean, George Floyd's neck. What am I saying? Eric Garner. I mean, that's a whole other person. I mean, that's a whole other situation, right? He was choked out. Trying to exonerate him. Basically, that's just a bait tactic to see if we're going to go out into the streets and protest and, go crazy so they can then implement something like martial law. Pulling up all of the structure on the Black Lives Matter mural in Washington, D.C. on the street, renaming the street, was it Liberty Way or something like that, or something to that effect, right? Just really trying to get under the skin of Black people to see if we're going to go out and do these things so then they can implement violence on us. It has not stopped, y'all. It has not stopped. And I had a conversation a few years with someone where they were just convinced, and this is a Black person, mind you, convinced that a lot of the issues in this country did not stem from slavery. And I was like, friend, where have you been living? Because the rock needs to be lifted that you've been under, and you need to understand all this stuff, gerrymandering, redlining, all these things stem from racism, not wanting the Black person to actually progress in this country. That's where that comes from. It is what it is, right? And to sit here and pretend like this is not it, this is another reason why things remain the same. Because people don't want to acknowledge the truth. The truth is, this country is actually, it benefits by way of racism. And because of that, here we are. I'm trying to see if this guy's going to take this spot. I hope he doesn't. God bless America. Okay, good. And because of that, here we are. And we're dealing with all of these things that just don't even need to be an issue. It's sad. It's sad that my skin color and that my skin color is the thing that angers people, that causes so much animosity, and that creates a lot of the reasons why people are doing things against their interests because of racism. It's wild. It's wild to me. Like, it really blows my mind. Like, I don't understand it, but at the same time, I'm not stressed out. I'm not worried about the things that are happening in this country, because the things that now everyone's talking about that are now, oh my gosh, this is happening. I'm like, it's unfortunate that now other people are experiencing this, but this is what the Black experience has been like since the beginning of time. People being disenfranchised by so many things by way of the government because of racism. And unfortunately, racism has now stretched its arms out to go beyond skin color, and it's now classism. And if you don't have the money, you are basically a nobody at this point. People, it's crazy. I'm trying to get this parking spot. I don't know if old girl's leaving. I don't know what is happening here. Anywho, guys. Yeah, so this is where we are. This is where we are in this country. Like I said, it's sad. It's unfortunate. But now people are seeing more than ever that all these things are now affecting everyone in ways that are a bit more blatant than they were before. Because they've always been an issue for everyone. But now it's, like I said, it's more apparent than ever. So yeah. I don't know. I don't have the answers, guys. It's just me. It's just Leesh Car Confessions. Just, doing insane things and hoping that we will get to a point where we will not allow the ignorance and the evil and the hate of others to continue to ruin our lives. Just keep it real, right? The hope is that we can move forward and be in a position where we are looking out for one another and not trying to make others feel bad or be in a position where they are being, guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying to focus on getting this parking spot. Listen, here's the thing about New York City. If you don't get a parking spot when it's the time, you are SOL. And I cannot be fooling around. I pray for the day that I don't have to do this anymore. I'm serious. Like, I love New York, but it's stuff like this that it just really is just like why, right? Like, why am I fighting to get a parking spot? And then on top of that, it's like you're fighting for the parking spot, and then the person, and I'm guilty of this too. I'm not gonna lie. When someone's waiting on a parking spot, it's like you take your sweet time to get out of the spot, and I'm like, come on, man, just be kind. Just get out of the spot so I can go do what I need to do. Yeah. Racism is ruining all of our lives, guys. It's ruining all of our lives. I don't care who you are, white, black, brown, otherwise, whatever gender, sexuality, it is ruining all of our lives. And the moment we wake up and realize that and start actually fighting against the system, we will be better for it. Seriously. All right, friends, off to PT, get this leg together. I love you. And like I always say, let's just keep on keeping on. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.